What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Hope everyone had a good night last night. I had a good night. A lot of virtual happy hours with the Jocelyn's crew, the Springfield crew, some of the Albright guys, some of Brendan's Coast Guard buddies. So it was a good time, but not feeling quite sharp today. And while I'm not saying I'm hungover, this soup I'm making is actually called Hangover soup. I saw this once on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. This Polish restaurant had it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So it's quite labor intensive. There's a lot of prep work, a lot of chopping, but weather kind of sucks. It's kind of cold. Good day for it. So I'm actually going to post a picture of the amounts because there's a lot to go through. But basically, you get a pot of water going to start at about a medium-high heat. And to start, we're going to fry about 2 strips of bacon. And this is a multi-step process, so I'll take you through them as I go. But for starters, I'm doing about 4 cups of water in a pot and 2 strips of bacon. So I'll be frying that up, and then I'll be talking you through the rest of it. So if anybody wakes up not feeling 100%, a little too much fun with those Zoom happy hours, this is a good meal. We'll be back. All right, so we're back. So the bacon's getting cooked, so it's I'll take you through the couple steps as we go. So you get that pot of water going at about a medium high. So we're going to cook the bacon, then we're going to throw the bacon in there. The next step, I got about a cup of diced onions. We're going to brown the onions and then throw them in. So everything, it's about 3 or 4 different stages of just dumping all this stuff into the pot and making your soup. So the one I'm going to do calls for about 1 cup of diced kielbasa, which is going to be boiled. So to try to get that measured out, if you get one of those, big sausage rings, that's about 1/3 of one of these. So I'm just going to start doing that while that bacon's cooking. And again, this is the toughest part about this. It's not tough, it's just a little bit more labor intensive. There's a lot of chopping and mincing with, you got about 2 stalks of celery you got to dice up. You got about 1 carrot you got to do. If you got them, this recipe also calls for some of those leeks that I've still got left over from that pasta dish a while back. So again, it's a lot of, the toughest thing about this one is just all the chopping and the dicing you gotta do. But it's something a little bit different, and good day for it. We'll be back. All right, so I just cooked the bacon off. Once the bacon's cooked, you throw that in the water first, and then you sweat the onions down right in the bacon fat. So when they get browned, you throw them in. And now there's a series of stages next. Next, you're going to do all your veggies. So you get the chopped celery and carrot, and I got about a cup of diced tomatoes with some tomato sauce. So once the onions get sweated and they get browned, you add them with the bacon into your pot of water, and you bring that to a boil. And once that happens, you add the veggies, and you let that go for 15 minutes. And then I'll be back to show you the next step, which involves some the diced kielbasa, and also if you got some baby reds, I would cube up the potatoes. Really, whatever kind of potato you're using, just have it equal parts with the sausage. Just have the sausage and the potatoes be a 1-to-1 ratio. So we'll be back. See you. All right, so I just threw in my tomatoes, my celery and carrots, and that's going to go for 15 minutes. So a couple more stages. The next stage, after that 15 minutes, I'm going to add the leeks, the potatoes, and the sausage. And then at that time, you're also going to add some spices. So if you've got it, allspice is good with this, and also paprika. If you got bay leaves, that'd be great to throw in there. I actually don't have that right now, but you add the spices at the same time that you add your sausage, potatoes, and leeks. And then it gets a little weird after that, so we'll be back. All right, we're back. That veggie mix has been going for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to add the leeks, sausage, and potatoes, and the spices. You don't want to over-season this. It's not really supposed to be too spicy, more like savory. So, maybe roughly a tablespoon of each, the allspice and the paprika, and if you got it, that bay leaf. And as you're doing this, just, keep an eye on it. Just give it a stir. It should be staying at a medium high, so it shouldn't be at like a rolling boil, but you should see a little bit of bubbles in there. So now that sausage, potato, leek mixture is in there, you go for another 15 minutes. So quick tip, there's a lot of dicing and mincing and all this, a lot of moving parts on this one. The fact you got some time in between your steps is a good tip to clean up as you go, so you're not left with a big pile of dirty dishes. So in the meantime, I've chopped up about 2 cloves of garlic, and if you've got it, about equal parts of fresh dill. And there's 2 more ingredients. So when this 15 minutes is up, I'll be back to tell you. See ya. All right, so that 15 minutes on the potato kielbasa deal is just about done. So next we're going to throw in that fresh dill and that garlic. And we're also going to put in actual pickles. So if you get some dill pickles, these are sliced pretty thin. There's no set amount. These are pretty thin, so I think I'm going to do 3 of these. And you just chop them up, dice them up, and you add them at the same time with your garlic and fresh dill. And this step is about 10 minutes. So I'm going to throw all this in, and I feel like this pot I got is just big enough for all this stuff. So you get this in, and this adds a little bit of brine, some of that juice from the pickles. You throw that in for 10 minutes, and we are really close to being done. Just one more thing at the very end. See ya. All right, we're just about done. It's been going for about 10 minutes with the pickles and the dill and the garlic. So I got some of that bread from Sarcone's, which is good, to have with the soup. Any kind of bread you got at home. The last step, just to thicken it up a little bit, is about a half a cup of the heavy whipping cream. I got just enough left. So just put that in there and just stir it for a little bit. This will thicken it up a little bit. It's not a very thick soup. It's definitely a soup. It's not a stew. And as you go, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but when you add those veggies, I would throw in, cracked black pepper and a little bit of salt. So just let this go for another minute or so. And we're just about good to plate up. So something a little bit different. Again, I saw this on Triple D. And it looked pretty good to me. A little bit different. It's not the kind of thing you might see every day, or you might not want to have every day, but this Polish guy on Triple D said it's good comfort food. They had kind of a rough night. So there we go. It's our hangover soup, and by the time you finish this, you might say to yourself, it might be time for a beer. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow.